Hello guys, I don't know if you remember me, so it's been so long since we are in class. My name is Mr. Josue, and we're going to see some topics in the virtual way because we cannot see us in the school. But this topic that we're going to see today is going to be a topic that we already saw in class, but that we haven't worked in the book. So the work you're going to have to do and upload to the platform is going to be the work in the book. Now, remember the topic that last topic that we see, that is degree of comparison. Degree of comparisons is when we compare between two or more things. There are three degrees of comparison. The first one is the positive degree. That is when we has an equal degree of comparison. We are comparing as a thing, and we're going to use the form as, or in this case, negative, as not, as. For example, let's say the adjective is as large. I can say that my house is as large as my neighbor's, or my house is as not as large as my neighbor. The same noun, but between the two as forms. The comparative degree is when we compare it between two things, in only two things. For this, we can use either the add er to the adjective, or we can put more. And from some adjectives that we are going to see today, we can only put more or than. But always we're going to be following the sentence for the word than. For example, same adjective, large. My house is larger than my neighbor's, or my house is more large than my neighbor's. The next degree of comparison is the superlative degree. The superlative degree is when we're comparing between more than two things, three or more, can be infinitives. For example, we can say my house is the largest of the neighborhood. In this case, I'm comparing my house between all the houses in the neighborhood. Or we can say that my house is the most large of the neighborhood. In this case, same adjective, but we're using the superlative. Remember that comparative is between two things, and superlative is between three or more. We are going to see some examples. Look at the picture. We're going to use tall or chores. In this case, we have three subjects: Mr. A, Mr. B, and Mr. C. We can make some sentences. So, for example, the first sentence, we're going to say that Mr. A over here, is going to be shorter than Mr. B over here. So Mr. A is shorter than Mr. B. Mr. B is shorter than Mr. C. See, we are comparing between these two subjects. Now we got Mr. C that is taller than Mr. B. These three sentences are all comparative because we are comparing between two subjects, A and B, B and C, only two subjects. But when we compare the three subjects, Mr. C is the tallest man of all. We are comparing Mr. C to these two subjects, so this becomes a superlative. And we can say that Mr. A is the shortest man of all because we are comparing Mr. A with these two subjects. So see, 2 is comparative, 3 is superlative, 3 or more. Now, the work that we are going to be doing in the book is the rules that we got to convert the adjectives to their comparative or their superlative form. This is something that we already practiced in class again, but that we're going to be remembering today so you can make the pages that you have to do in the book. Now, for one syllable word, this is when the words only have one vowel sound. We're going to have the word ends in a consonant. We're going to add er for the comparative degree and add est for the superlative degree. For example, tall, see, we're going to be adding er or est. Taller, comparative, tallest, superlative. Sweet has only one vowel sound, only one syllable word, the vowel E. We're going to be adding er, so sweet will become sweeter. and in superlative, sweetest. Now, for the adjective, when the adjective ends in an E, we're just only going to add R or ST. For example, large will become larger, see, only add the R, and largest at EST. Late will become later, and latest at R or EST. Comparative, superlative. If the adjectives ends in a vowel and a consonant, that means a vowel, then a consonant, we're going to double the consonant before adding ER or EST. For example, fat. We have the vowel A followed by the consonant T. So we double the T and we say fatter, and we double the T and we say fattest. Thin, same example, we have the vowel I followed with the consonant N. Thinner, we're going to double the consonants. Thinnest, we're going to double the consonants. Remember, this only for one syllable word. That is mean words that has only one vowel sound. For two syllable words, if the adjective ends in a Y, we're going to change the Y into I, and then add ER for the comparative and add EST for the superlative. So busy, we got a Y over here, but when we convert it to comparative, we say busier, same sound, but the Y now is an I, and we add ER. And busiest, see, the Y is now an I, and we add EST. Now, for the adjectives that ends, and this is very important, in this suffix, each, us, fall, it, and, if, less, ing, like, word, os, all, act, if. So we're going to proceed the adjectives with more or most. In this case, we cannot convert the adjectives adding ER or EST. So we're going to add more or most. For example, famous, we cannot say famouser or famous. We're going to say more famous, most famous, because ends in the suffix OUS, us. Now, special adjectives. So some two-syllable adjectives have two possible forms of comparative. For example, common, more common, common, most common. In this case, remember that when we are in trouble, we can always add more and most. But if you are asked to say to present the ER form, so we're going to use the form over here. Or if you say just make a comparative or superlative sentence, we can use more or most. But remember, always read the sentence that we're going to be presenting. So, for the adverb ends in ly and two or more syllables, we're going to use comparative and for comparative more and for superlative most. Slowly, more slowly, most slowly, because this adjective has already been converted to another form. With a slow, only slow, we can say slower or slowest. But we already have slowly, that is a different form of the adjective, we're going to have to add more or most. That is an exception of the adverb early, that if using the suffix er or est. So only this exception with early, we're going to say earlier or earliest. So this is the only exception. So early and earliest. See? So for more than two syllable words, just add more or most to comparative. When the word is long, it has more than two syllables, we're only going to add more or most. We're not going to say expensiver or expensivest. We're going to say more expensive or most expensive. Difficult, we can say it difficultier or difficultiest. We're going to say more difficult or most difficult. When the adjective is large, that is going to be the measuring thing to tell us that we're going to have add. We're going to have to add more or must. Now, some irregular forms. This is very important. You have some in your book because some adjectives cannot be converted. So by the regular way, they have some ways that we have to learn by memory. So remember to study at them. So we got, for example, ball, bat. We're going to say worse, good, better, best, little, less, least, many, or much, more, most, late, latest, sorry, my mistake, far, distant, farther, see, we're going to have at, at the th, farther, th, some irregular, far, further, furthest, old, elder, eldest. This is when we're going talking about family member, and O with age, older, oldest. So this too is going to depend of the context, and we are going to use the adjectives. So this is the first part of the tutorial. Now we're going to be seeing what you're going to be doing in your book. Okay guys, now for the work you're going to be doing. We're going to be working in page 23 of your book. This is this page right here. In this page, we're with the first exercise will be with the information given, where you write a sentence using unequal comparison adjectives. That means you're going to use, say that Theo, for example, was not as lucky as Vincent. So this is the first example. And you have to complete the others, the rest. Now, in this exercise number 2, you're going to be writing an unequal comparison for each sentence. Selling one painting is good. Selling a lot of painting is, we're going to be changes this adjective with the unequal comparison. The adjective, that means the comparative. Selling one painting is good. Selling a lot of painting is better. So complete. It's very easy. In exercise number 3, you're going to write the comparative of and the superlative form for the following verbs. So as we are seeing in the first part of the video, we have the comparative and the superlative for these adjectives. Now, number 4, with the information given, write a sentence using superlatives. So temperas cost 5, mineral cost, pigment cost 18, other type of paint available in the market are cheaper than the tempera. So what can we say? For example, we say that mineral pigments are the most expensive things available in the market painting. So this is the first example. Complete the other 2. Now, in the next part, some of the following sets are reading correctly, others are reading incorrectly. So the one that there are correctly, and keep in mind the rules of comparison. We have to fix this. Some of these sentences are wrong, some of these sentences over here, and we have to fix them. We have to correct them. This one, you will have to do it in your notebook. So you cannot do it in the book. The other ones, you can work in the book in a very legible word, handwriting. If not, you can do it in your notebook, just the answer, and send the answer to the platform. Now, to the next page, we're going to be working in page number 8 of your workbook. We're going to complete this sentence over here, this structure over here. We're going to correct the comparative form from this adjective. Choose the superlative form for the correct form for this adjectives. Remember the rules that we have seen. And then we got complete each sentence. So we have to change these adjectives over here for the correct sentence to provide either comparative or superlative. So read the sentence and keep in mind the context of the sentence to know if you have to use comparative or you have to use superlative. Remember what you just saw. Then write sentences using irregular comparison. That means uh, comparative. So you're going to use the ER or the whatever form of the adjective you have to do with the comparative. In the next page is page number 9 of your workbook. So you have to, in this line, write the correct comparative or superlative form in the sentence if the sentence is correct. So correct this sentence, use comparative or superlative. It's going to be this sentence are wrong, you have to correct them. Now this part over here, you can investigate about Vincent van Gogh in your house and compare them to other paintings that you know. What describe them in a comparative and use comparative or superlative, who is better, who is worse. So it's going to be a little investigation work. That's going to be the work you're going to do in your house. Remember to upload it to the platform there, and so you can get the grades. The assignation will be available until midnight of today, Monday. So remember to work in that, and we'll be going to be seeing you. I hope seeing you soon. Stay safe. And if you have something to tell me, remember to reach me to my cell phone. I am available to you. So bye bye. Bye bye. Good day.